The death has been announced of rapper Lil Tay. But is she really dead? What is going on? We'll look at that in this video from Never a Truer Word, where we look at the words that people choose to use to find out a little bit more about the stories that we're looking at. And this is the announcement on Instagram yesterday, as I record this, of Lil Tay. It's a post that has been seen by millions, but there's some doubt about what's going on here. As you can see there, her real name was Claire Hope. She's 15 or 14 when she died, according to this statement. Her brother also died at the same time, according to the announcement that was put out. So let's have a look at the statement. Let's have a look at the words that were used in this statement to see if we can find out any more about what is really going on here. Here's the statement. It is with a heavy heart that we share the devastating news of our beloved Claire's sudden and tragic passing. We have no words to express the unbearable loss and indescribable pain. This outcome was entirely unexpected and has left us all in shock. Her brother's passing adds an even more unimaginable depth to our grief. During this time of immense sorrow, we kindly ask for privacy as we grieve this overwhelming loss, as the circumstances surrounding Claire and her brother's passing are still under investigation. Claire will forever remain in our hearts, her absence leaving an irreplaceable void that will be felt by all who knew and loved her. So what have we got there? Well, I always look at where a statement starts and what it starts with. And this starts with the sadness. It is with a heavy heart that we share the devastating news of our beloved Claire's sudden and tragic passing. So the most important thing seems to be here, the sadness at the death of Claire. Which is reassuring there. It's not someone aggrandizing themselves. It's not someone making themselves very important. This leads with the sadness. Who's the statement from? It doesn't say. We'll come on to that more later, but it's we are sharing it and our beloved Claire's. Now, the impression you could get is this is her parents or parental figures, but it doesn't say that. It's just we. So it's from more than one person and our beloved Claire. You know, this could be her management team. This could be her best friends if you break it down. So although it does feel like it comes from parental figures, we don't know. But we do know that it seems to come from more than one person. But I'll come on to that next. And then I just start to notice conflicts all the way through this statement. Now, you'll see that the death is described as sudden and tragic, but it's also described as an outcome. And now an outcome made me think that was there some illness here, you know, someone being ill for a while and the outcome has been Claire's passing, or has there been some series of events that lead up to an outcome? An outcome is the end of a series of events. So I'm wondering why at one stage it's described as an outcome and then in another stage it's sudden and tragic. Interesting contradiction. Another contradiction is where it says here, we have no words to express the unbearable loss and indescribable pain. And this is the big bit in this statement for me that I don't like, because although they say they have no words, and we all know people who have, I've no words to describe your behavior, and then they go on to describe your behavior in great detail. So when someone says no words, it's a figurative thing. It's not really a literal thing. But look at the words that they do have to express the unbearable loss and indescribable pain. They have a heavy heart. It was sudden and tragic. An unbearable loss, indescribable pain, unimaginable depth of our grief, immense sorrow, overwhelming loss, her absence, an irreplaceable void. When I first saw that, I thought, wow, they've got a lot of language to describe this death. And when someone has a lot of language to describe something, rather than just sticking to one phrase, like saying I'm devastated several times, then there's some believability to that. But when I looked at this, it's almost too good to be true. And there's a kind of rhythm to it. If you see, we've got adjective noun, unbearable loss, heavy heart, indescribable pain, unimaginable depth, immense sorrow, overwhelming loss, irreplaceable void. It's almost too good to be true, and reminded me of, you know, when your teachers at school would tell you in an answer or an essay never to use the same word twice in a sentence and always use lots of different words to describe things. This is like that. It's like we don't do that in real life. We have a limited vocabulary. If we feel something, we put a label on it and we'll use that label for the feeling lots and lots and lots of times. And yet here, it seems to be almost written by an English teacher, or has it been written by someone else? So say this is from the parents, has a PR person come in to write this for them and used all that learning that you get at school to use lots of different words and adjective, noun, or is it AI? There's another possibility there. But this, for me, could be true. Look, I don't know the truth of what's happened. I'm thousands of miles away from what's happened, but it's almost too good to be true, this. A lot of people did ask me to look at this statement, and one of the reasons is that they just said, it's odd. It's odd. People read this statement on Instagram and went, it's odd. And one of the really odd things about it is the mentions of the brother. It's almost like an announcement of Claire's death. Oh, and by the way, her brother died too. He's an afterthought. He's always referred to as her brother. He's never referred to by name at all. Her brother. That's all. You look at this part here where we're asked for privacy as we grieve this overwhelming loss. That's singular. This overwhelming loss, not these overwhelming losses or the loss of these two people. It's this singular overwhelming loss. Why is that? And look at the very last line. Claire will forever remain in our hearts, her absence leaving an irreplaceable void that will be felt by all who knew and loved her. Nothing about the brother there at all. He is only ever referred to as her brother. By the way, not our son. Remember, we don't know who sent this. We don't know who wrote this. We don't know who it's from. But he's always referred to as her brother. So it's always his relation to Claire, not his relation to anyone else, just her brother. And at the very end there, a tribute to Claire, but nothing at all about the brother or the loss of the brother at all. What else do we have here? Well, this is again, when I say I spot lots of contradictions here. We kindly ask for privacy as we grieve this overwhelming loss, and yet this was posted to an Instagram account with millions of followers, which is not how you go about getting privacy at all. Now, this can happen, that you announce something and then ask for privacy, but again, it's just another one of these contradictions that I see in this statement. And next, what is missing from this statement? Oh, there is a lot. By the way, I really have more questions than answers about this statement. So if you notice anything about it, if you've got things to say, comment down below. I will read every single comment that comes in and we can interact on that as well. So comment down below if you have anything to say. Right, what is missing in this statement? There's nothing specific about Claire whatsoever. It's very, very bland and generic. Remember I said it could be written by a PR person or AI? That's what this feels like. It feels like it doesn't come from someone who knows Claire at all. There's nothing about Claire whatsoever. Nothing that will be missed about Claire. You might expect something like she had a bright future ahead of her and that's been taken away from her, or that, we'll miss her smile or her laugh or her energy. There's nothing specific about Claire at all. Now, we've noticed there's nothing specific about the brother. In fact, he's always just her brother. At least Claire gets a name, but there is nothing about Claire at all, bar her name. There is no sign of who this is from. It's not signed. No, we don't know who this post comes from at all. That's really, really odd. Biggest odd thing in it, though, is the mention of the brother. So conclusions. Wow. It's really odd. It's a very, very odd statement. It's generic. It's bland. It's almost too good to be genuine, if that makes sense. It's full of contradictions. It just doesn't quite add up that this is a realistic statement. And there's just nothing specific at all. We don't know who it's from. We don't know the cause of death. Nothing, as I said, specific about Claire, or nothing specific about her brother. It's very odd. The only thing I can say in conclusion is there is more to come out of this. Whatever has happened, it's a tragedy. Either a 14-year-old girl, Claire, has lost her life, or a 14-year-old girl, Claire, is at the centre of something very dark indeed, which is also a tragedy. If you wanted to discuss this further, get involved in the comments down below, or you can find me on social media. Just go to neveratruerword.com and you'll get all the links there. And if you go to videos.neveratruerword.com, then you can see more videos like this. And we'll see you soon for another video from Never a Truer